The alarm blared through the station, shattering the quiet. Structure fire, downtown warehouse, possible entrapment. Firefighter Jake Riley yanked on his gear, his heart already racing. It was just another fire, another battle against the flames, until he caught the glance from his best friend, Liam Turner, across the locker room. A silent nod, a shared understanding. They had been through countless calls together, and tonight would be no different. Or so Jake thought. The fire was worse than expected. By the time they arrived, the old warehouse was already an inferno, flames licking greedily at the rafters, thick smoke billowing out like a living beast. Jake and Liam were the first inside, moving in tandem like they always did, each knowing the other's next move without a word. "Go left!" Liam shouted over the roar of the blaze. "I'll check the back room." Jake hesitated, something twisting in his gut. "We stick together?" Liam flashed a grin. "I'll be 2 minutes. You trust me, right?" Jake forced a smirk. "More than I should." And then Liam disappeared into the smoke. Seconds stretched into minutes, and Jake's radio crackled with frantic voices. "Mayday! Mayday! We've got a collapse!" Jake's blood turned to ice. He tore through the smoke, pushing past falling debris and scorching heat, screaming into his radio. "Liam, come in! Where are you?" Silence. The beam crashed down before Jake could react, cutting him off from Liam's last known position. He pounded against it, coughing, his gear drenched in sweat and soot. "Liam!" he roared, his voice breaking. Faintly he heard it, Liam's voice, weak and distant. "Jake, I can't..." Then nothing. The next few hours were a blur. The team worked tirelessly, pulling debris away brick by brick, but Jake knew. Deep down, he knew. When they finally reached Liam, he was slumped under a pile of rubble, his breathing ragged, helmet cracked. His eyes met Jake's for a fleeting moment, filled with something Jake had never seen before. Fear. Jake dropped to his knees, grabbing his friend's hand. "We got you, man. Hold on." Liam's lips curled into a weak smile. "You were always the stubborn one." Jake squeezed harder, his hands trembling. "Stay with me. Stay with me, damn it." But Liam's eyes fluttered closed, and the grip loosened. The fire raged on, but Jake's world had gone silent. The funeral was a blur of folded flags and tear-streaked faces. Jake stood at the front, staring down at the polished casket draped in the American flag. The weight in his chest felt unbearable. The speeches, the salutes, the murmured condolences, it all felt hollow. He should have been faster. He should have done more. "Jake," Liam's widow, Emily, whispered, gripping his arm. "He wouldn't want you blaming yourself." Jake swallowed the lump in his throat, nodding stiffly, but deep down, the guilt gnawed at him like an unrelenting fire. Returning to the station felt like stepping into a ghost town. Liam's locker remained untouched, his nameplate gleaming under the fluorescent lights. Jake stood in front of it for a long time, resting his forehead against the cool metal. He could still hear Liam's laugh echoing through the station, the countless late-night talks over stale coffee, the shared dreams of making it to retirement together. But now, it was just him, and he wasn't sure he could do it alone. The first call back was the hardest. Jake sat in the truck, staring at his gloves, his mind flashing back to that night, the smoke, the screaming, the helplessness. "Jake," the captain said softly, "we need you." He closed his eyes, drawing in a shaky breath. He could hear Liam's voice in his head, teasing, pushing. "What are you waiting for, man? Let's go." With a nod, Jake grabbed his helmet and stepped out. The fire was waiting, and this time, he wouldn't let it win. The end. Let me know your thoughts.